technical constraints. When we film outside, it could be quite cold or it could be raining, so that could be a problem we would have to face. And if that problem does arise, we would film it inside. So like I said previously, we would use the kitchen instead, and her grabbing the chocolate from the cupboard. And time as well, because we don't want to do it too late. We'd rather do it during the day, where all of us are more likely to be free as well.
Legal and ethical issues. We wouldn't want the advert to show the negative sides to the advert to the chocolate, or send false information that's not really true. So we'll make sure that the advert is only telling the truth and doesn't give out false messages that doesn't really.
I'm saying that the chocolate bar could be healthy or help you to stay healthy.
We would also make sure that any nutritional facts we give, they're the correct ones from the chocolate bar or Cadbury's website, so that we're not also misleading the people trying to buy it, like children. They might be like, oh mum, look, it's really healthy, when it might not be. So we don't want to mislead any children.
And we wouldn't we would make sure that the adverts has safety in it, so it wouldn't influence the younger viewers to do something that they're not meant to do, such as if the advert contains violence or violence, then
they're more likely to copy and follow the advert's lead. Well, scheduling as well. We want to put it at an appropriate time so that it fits in with the right audience and it's not too early. Otherwise, because we don't want the content to influence little children. Like when she throws them onto the sofa and slams doors, we don't want little children to start going home and like throwing their remotes around and slamming doors in their bedroom and stuff.
We also have to consider that if we were to film anyone else other than the people who we've asked already, we would then have to ask for their permission due to privacy, as it's unfair to film someone and not tell them that they would be on TV if they don't want to be.
With your Wii part of the idea, will we see the game playing on it?
Yeah, at the start of the advert, there'll be a close-up on the Wii console and then a shot of the TV and the two actors playing it.
Because I think you need to be careful that you're not looking like you're advertising Mario rather than the double decker.
Yeah.
And I also think that it might be better, like you said, about rather than going all the way to a shop, seeing them getting out of the cupboard. I think with your advert, there's a lot going on with it, so it's going to make it really long if you see them leave and go to the shop and have to come back. So you'd have to do it really short otherwise. Who was the previous audience?
Like when it was originally advertised?
Yeah, originally before you idea.
Was it?
I think it was just like adults,
Yeah.
not like from like 20s, I think. But there wasn't really much on previous, like you couldn't really find much out on who it was advertised before. But we're thinking that because of how the chocolate bar is, the people today would be like parents, so they would know about it rather than younger kids.
Most of the adverts feature an adult in the advert.
Yeah.
So like in this one, you see the man working, and then he sits on a bus and then eats his chocolate. In the other two, it's usually featured an adult. So I think in one of them it shows a fish and then like a man in a suit, and it says the Godfather, which most teenagers wouldn't really know.
Yeah. How will the adults relate to your advert?
If they were to have played video games when they were younger, they would remember how competitive it could be with, like I said, siblings or friends, so they would remember what it was like, and it could remind them of when they used to eat it.
Okay. Seth?
Okay. Questions. How does your advert show the key message? So you can get the key message back up if you want to talk through it, but how does your storyline link to the key message that you guys picked out at the beginning?
Well, confidence, and because once the actor loses, they're gonna go and have the bar and have like a little break, and that's just gonna give them a little boost. That's just maybe because before that she's gonna have she's gonna over exaggerate and just throw the remote, and because that she's gonna she's gonna need to have like a little break, and she'll take the chocolate bar.
And what I said was, because it's got 2 fillings in it, it makes, like, if you're not so competitive, like if you're not a winner at the start, once you eat it, it brings out your better side, so it helps you to win.
Okay. That's fine, yep. What was I going to say next? What does your storyline bring to Double Decker? So how does your storyline relate to, really, I guess what I'm getting at is, how does your storyline relate to the branding that it's had in the past?
Split screen.
Yeah.
We're going to use split screen to sort of keep the same theme of Double Decker adverts, whereas they were all split screen, well, not all of them, but they have a Double
We
Decker
recently
bus.
experienced split screen.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yep, address that. Why is it good that your audience likes to eat, Nisha?
Because, you know, they're more likely to go out and buy the chocolate. If you have an audience that doesn't eat, then there's no point of selling the chocolate to them.
Yep. I'm still not 100% set on this idea of the split screen, so can you explain it to me a little bit more?
I feel like explaining it.
So, when it first begins, it's going to be a split screen. So at the top, it's going to be the same thing happening in both screens, but in the top one where it's purple, it's going to show it's going to have a close-up of the sad person, and in the bottom where it's orange, it's going to have a close-up of the happy person to show the different emotions in both people. But at the end, I think it won't be a split screen.
No, because she'll when the split screen ends is when she'll lose the match, and she'll go have the chocolate bar. That's when the orange. That's when the screen basically goes orange.
Okay. But when the other girl loses, wouldn't she be then purple?
Yeah.
That's a question. Like, wouldn't she go purple?
Yeah.
When you're filming this, it is worth. I think Missy's right. We really shouldn't see the game or the game's console. So it doesn't really matter what game they're playing. The key point is that, you know, as you say, it gives you confidence. It makes you happier. It, you know, allows you to beat people. So we don't need, the game's irrelevant. So I'd cut that section out because it is confusing. You've only got 30 seconds to get it across. We want to make sure that product happens. 2 points in terms of the technicalities of it. If you're filming a split screen, film the shot. Say you're filming a sofa, you need to film the shot twice. Once with somebody sat on one side, once with somebody sat on the other side, and then purple it and orange it. So you need to film it twice with them running alongside each other. So don't just film it once. You need to get it with an empty couch on that side, and an empty couch on that side, and then we'll just crop it down. Second point, what was I going to say? Technicalities. It's gone out of my head. It'll come back to me. What other conventions do you carry forward from previous adverts? So you've got the split screen. Is there anything in terms of the line of appeal or anything else that you carry forward from those ads?
How do I explain it? It will be hidden because we wouldn't really show, or will show, but we won't really say the name of the product or anything. So we'll just show it at the end just to advertise it. And
So it's only when they're eating it
yeah.
that you actually see it, and then at the end when you see the final screen of it being advertised.
Okay. And going back to Cadbury's ethos, how's your advert going to show the ethos you identified? And get it up in front of you again if you want to. But just explain to us, with each of these things that you've got in terms of Cadbury's ethos, how does your advert show these things?
Well, it'll be light-hearted because after the match, both of them will be friends no matter who wins or who loses. And family friendly because what?
Oh, I think that was in casting the people. We weren't sure if it would, if we had a problem with casting, we would change it to a setting where it was family, because when you have a family situation and you're playing games and stuff, that's when you're more likely to be really competitive and you really want to win because you don't want to lose to someone in your family.
Yep.
So that's when we would incorporate that idea.
Yep. Have we covered all aspects of that ethos now? Yeah? Alright. Last question. No, it wasn't really a question actually. Yeah, I would open your advert just with those guys playing the game. And it's just like a two-shot of them playing the game, and then we go into the close-up. Miss, what do you think of this split screen? What's your opinion on that?
I can see where you're going with it because it goes in with it, with the like packaging and stuff. But I'm not sure if it's gonna. If you really need it.
Why have you got why the split screen other than to retain the sense of branding? What do you think it's? Do you think it's gonna? How do you think it's gonna look? Do you think it's gonna look good? What do you think it's gonna look like?
I kind of think it depends on how it's done.
Yeah.
So because the packaging is purple, then orange, not orange and purple, it might not totally fit it.
So are you talking about running it rather than like this and this, running it like that and that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is like rather than one face at the top, one face at the bottom, one face at the left, one face at the right. I think that would work a bit better.
Yeah,
Also with the pack shot, one thing I would have on the end is a video game controller next to it. Just because that's something that that's one of the big things that you've been using all the way through it. Anything else, Miss?
I don't think so.
Okie dokie. Right.